A chaotic race that took over a week to complete left drivers frustrated and the loss of a young prospect in motor racing. This is the story of the 1967 Motor Trend 500 at Riverside. So, what is the toughest NASCAR race of all time? Well, the 1967 Motor Trend 500 makes a case for that question. Before we get into the race, let's look at the history of the track up to this point. In 1957, Riverside International Motor Raceway was completed in the Edgemont area of Riverside County in California. It quickly became a hit among drivers and fans as the hot and sandy track provided lots of challenges and fast speeds for a road course in the West Coast. A track with long straightaways, speedy S's, challenging turns, and a sweeping right-handed turn 9. Racing began at the track in September 1957 with the California Sports Club, and the NASCAR Grand National Series made its appearance the following year. Formula One held the United States Grand Prix at Riverside in 1960, in which Sterling Moss captured a win by 38 seconds over Ennis, Ireland. Other series that would later race at the track included USAC Champ Car, IROC, NASCAR Southwest, USRRC, IMSA, Trans Am, Can-Am, Superbikes, and the K&N Pro West Series. But anyways, back to NASCAR. Eddie Gray won the inaugural 500-miler, and Dan Gurney won 4 of the first 7 Grand National events at the track. However, despite the exciting action, the track has a dark history. On the very first weekend of racing at Riverside, John Lawrence passed away after crashing a 1500cc production car between turns 5 and 6. He was running with the California Sports Car Club. From 1957 to 1966, 11 drivers were killed at the track, one being the 1962-63 Grand National Champion Joe Weatherly. He tragically passed away after hitting the turn 6 wall without using a shoulder harness and a lap belt during the 1964 Motor Trend 500. The following year, A.J. Foyt almost lost his life after a brake failure shot him off the track going into turn 9. Many horrible accidents occurred at turn 9, and it took until 1969 to redesign it. That takes us to 1967.
The second race of the 1967 season was to be held on Sunday, January 22nd at the famous Riverside International Raceway. However, it got off to a tragic start during Friday's practice session. Billy Foster, a Canadian USAC driver, was driving the number 22 Dodge Charger and was the 1963 Canadian-American Modified Racing Association champion. Foster made 28 USAC starts as well as 2 in the Indianapolis 500 and was the 1965 USAC Rookie of the Year, as well as scoring a best career finish of second in 1966 at Lakewood Speedway.
It was going to be Billy Foster's second career Grand National start, having finished 7th in the 1966 running of the Motor Trend 500. He qualified 9th for the event in the new 1967 Dodge Charger owned by Rudy Ower. That race week, Foster roomed with Mario Andretti, who was driving a 1967 Ford owned by Holman and Moody. According to reports, while traveling around 135 miles per hour, a brake drum failed on the car entering turn 9, and he smashed head-on into the wall. At the time, window nets were not made mandatory in the series. A bright young star, Billy Foster, had passed away at the age of 29. He was the 12th driver to lose their life at the track, and the 15th in the Grand National Series. The Canadian would later be inducted into the Victoria Auto Racing Hall of Fame in 1984 and the Canadian Motorsport Hall of Fame in 1993. Mario Andretti was heartbroken by the loss of his friend and refused to get close with another driver because of what happened. 1 month later, Andretti would capture his only Grand National victory, and it took place in the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. That weekend, Ed Brown and Cale Yarborough also crashed in turn 9 and withdrew from the event. Yarborough and Foster were put in the final 2 spots, 45th and 46th in the race. Dick Hutcherson was on the pole with an average speed of 106.951 miles per hour. Driving the number 29 East Tennessee Ford owned by Buddy Long, he went out on lap 14 after colliding with the spinning Frank Burnett. David Pearson, driving for Colin Owens in the number 6 Dodge, led the first 3 laps of the event before losing the lead to Parnelli Jones. Jones led the next 15 laps before Dan Gurney went out in front. Gurney was looking for his 5th NASCAR win at the track. He led 36 laps in the first half of the event, as AJ Foyt, Fred Lorenzen, and Paul Goldsmith also spent turns out front. However, rain halted the race on lap 50. The race wasn't resumed until Sunday the 29th, 1 week later.
Richard Petty would go on to dominate the 67 season, winning 27 races and 48 starts and finishing 6,000 points ahead of runner-up finisher James Hilton. Would lead 4 laps before the road course master Dan Gurney took the lead again. On lap 86, the 10th and final lead change took place with Parnelli Jones going out in front. The 185-lap affair took 5 hours and 29 minutes to complete, with Parnelli Jones driving to victory, leading a total of 26 laps. Paul Goldsmith finished second 2 laps down in the 99 Plymouth, with only 12 out of 44 cars finishing the race. Contenders such as Dan Gurney, AJ Foyt, Fred Lorenzen, and Mario Andretti went out with mechanical failures. Crashes damaged the cars of drivers Dick Hetcherson, who won the pole, as well as Richard Petty and Leroy Yarborough. There were multiple accidents in the race, but the total amount of cautions is unavailable. After the race, Parnelli Jones said, "This race was the hardest on equipment of any that I've ever driven." Norm Nelson and Don White finished 3rd and 4th, 2 laps down, and James Hilton rounded out the top 5, 7 laps down.
Well, was it the roughest race in NASCAR history? Perhaps the most grueling? Let me know your thoughts down below. That's going to do it for the video. I know my voice is a little shaky. I haven't had much of a voice the last couple days, unfortunately. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed. And thank you, Darian, for joining me in this video. Make sure to go check him out. Make sure to subscribe to him. You can see his channel on the screen or in the description below. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe on the road to 1K. And I'm looking forward to doing more racing history stories. So make sure to hit the notification button so you won't miss a single one. And until next time, I'm out. Peace.